Welcome back into another new session with me, Geetu. I hope all of you are doing great. So, today we're going to be starting off a new chapter that's called Business Environment. Yes. So, this chapter, if you actually see, is the third chapter in your business studies syllabus, but we are completing it as the last chapter because it's one of the pretty easy chapters for you to be learning. So, this chapter is the last chapter that we would be completing in the syllabus, but when you look at the syllabus, this chapter is the third chapter, which is called as Business Environment. So what exactly are the learning in this particular chapter? So this chapter is pretty small chapter, so we would complete the chapter fast, and you have very important topics as well. So as I'm going to teach you, I'm going to be telling you the marks as well. So this is your mind map. Write it down somewhere and ensure that you know what are the topics that you're going to be learning in this particular mind map. Okay, so moving on to the weightage of the topics, you have meaning of business environment, you have features would come as an 8 marker, you have importance also, which would come as an 8 marker. So any question which is coming as an 8 marker has the capacity to come as a 4 marker as well. Okay, so you have features which will come for an 8 marker or a 4 marker, importance which will come for an 8 marker, 4 marker, dimensions which would again come for an 8 marker, 4 marker, or it would come for a practical oriented question. So usually in this chapter you have a practical oriented question. Every chapter has a practical oriented question. So this dimensions of business environment is very important for a practical oriented question. Then you have economic environment in India. You can go through that particular topic, but please ensure at least you know what is the meaning of it, how exactly did it start off, the regulations, all those things. Then you have demonetization and features which may come for a 4 marker or which may come for a 2 marker. Okay, so I'm going to write it down there. Then the last topic you have comes as a 4 marker, or it may come, usually it comes as a 4 marker. So please ensure you're not quitting this chapter because it's a very easy chapter when it comes to scoring of your exam, scoring in your exam. So today we will be completing the topics that is related to meaning, features and importance of business environment. Now what exactly environment? Okay, before we can go into what exactly is business environment, we are going to be understanding why exactly do we need to concentrate on the environment. That's why exactly the business needs to let's say focus on the environment. Okay, now I'm sure all of you by now know what is the meaning of business. What is business? Yeah, it's an economic activity which relates to the production and sale and procurement of raw materials and converting into finished goods and ensuring that you're selling it in the market and you're making money. Okay, so that is the meaning of business. Now what is the environment? Environment refers to your surroundings. Okay, it's the sum total of your surroundings, let it be people, let it be things, let it be whatever it is. So they have given here in polished words where it says it's defined as those forces. Forces refers to external forces, it also refers to internal forces. See, there are certain things that's in the control of us. Okay, so the things that's in the control of us are internal forces. The ones which we cannot control, like the change in the government, change in the likes and tastes, all these are external forces which are affecting the business. So, what are they saying? A business environment can be defined as those forces, individuals, or institutions who have the ability to influence the working of the organization. So, these are the things which is affecting the business environment. Okay, so you have internal, like I was just telling you, you have internal forces, you have external forces which is affecting the company. Okay, so what are the internal and external forces? It refers to employees, it refers to customers, it refers to the management and the demand. All these are your internal and your external. So if you talk about internal, refers to employees. If you talk about external things that you can control within your organization, is your internal forces. Things that you cannot control within the organization, which is affecting the outside things, are affecting the organization, that's what is called as external. Okay, so now what exactly we have already completed now the meaning business environment. Okay, now features of 6 or 7 features of business environment. Again, I'm gonna mark it here. It is very important for an 8 marker. Okay, now the first one is totality of external factors, specific general factors, interrelation of factors, dynamic in nature. So by now you know what is dynamic in nature, ever changing. Okay, because I've already taught that to you in the first chapter. Now uncertainty also, you don't know if the business is continuously going to earn a profit, you are uncertain. Okay, so you're not sure. Then complexity refers to what, a lot of complicated things that's taking place in the business. Relativity, there's let's say lot of interdependency that is there. So if you actually see, the answer is pretty simple. It's just that you need to learn certain things which you are not aware of here. Okay, so let's move on into the explanation. What exactly is totality of external forces? I was telling you business environment is being divided into two. It is internal and it refers to external forces. Okay, now internal forces are within, see, okay, I'm going to write down here. Business environment is divided into internal and it's divided into external. So this is in our control. So I'm going to write here in our control. Okay, and this is not so out of our control. Okay, so I'm just going to write here out of our control. So what are they saying? Business environment is a sum total of external, okay, as well as the internal, and especially the external environment is something that is affecting the business environment, that is investors, suppliers, government economic policies, the change in the government policies, the customers likes and dislikes, the tastes, the habits. All these are the things which is affecting the business environment. So the first point speaks about external forces. External forces refers to the external things that's affecting the business, that is not in the control of the business organization. The second one refers to specific and general forces. Now, what exactly is specific and what exactly is general forces? Now, as I was telling you, specific refers to when you're manufacturing products, you are ensuring that it is meeting the investors, meeting the customers, and it is meeting the customers, and it is giving a tough competition. So if you actually see here, I have actually mentioned telling that what are the external forces here. Okay, so if you see the external forces, or let's say the specific forces, your specific forces refers to your customers, your suppliers, your competitors. You're being very specific in dealing with your, let's say, with your goods. When you're manufacturing goods, you are keeping in mind the customers, you're keeping in mind your competitors, you're keeping in mind the suppliers, because these are the middlemen who are helping to sell your products. Now if you talk about general environment, we are there's a lot of this economic and social and interrelated, a lot of things that's not within our control. So if you actually see here, specific refers to your internal. Okay, again I would write here, your specific refers to your internal, and your general forces refers to your external. Okay, so I'm going to write it down. So don't get confused. It's very simple. In business environment, you have two words to remember: internal and external. Your internal forces refers to your customers, your people that's within your organization who you can control. Like you cannot control your competitors, but definitely you can control your employees. So Your general forces, or like example, let's say how many goods you want to manufacture, what is the quality that you want to use, all these are your internal forces. But when you talk about external forces, it's things that's literally not within your control. That's your social, political, legal, technological environment, which is affecting the business. Okay, so the first one is totality of external forces, which refers to the sum total of all the external sources of the business. The second one is specific and general forces. When it comes to specific, specific relates to internal environment. When it comes to general, general refers to your external environment. Okay, one is dynamic in nature. What is dynamic in nature? The business is ever changing. Nothing is constant. Because it is not constant, you don't know what are the likes, you don't know the dislikes, you don't know the habits, you cannot judge completely. So what is happening? You are taking the risk factor here. You are uncertain. So what is happening here? Dynamic refers to ever changing. Okay, what is dynamic? It refers to ever changing. Okay, these terminologies are very important. Make sure you're making note of it. So the business environment, the things that's happening in the business environment is continuously ever changing. It keeps on changing. There is a lot of technology improvement. The competitors are there. The uh, customers preferences keep changing. So all this is the factors, or let's say these are the features which is affecting the business. Then you have uncertainty. You don't know if the business organization is going to earn a lot of profit. You're taking a factor of risk. So uncertainty refers to risk factor. The risk factor is high. So what are they saying? If your risk factor is high, you will make sure that you're earning some amount of profit. Why? Because you are continuously thinking of how you can improvise on your business, and you're taking the risk to do all this. Okay, so the next one is, the fifth point is complexity. Now what exactly is complexity? It gets very hard for us to judge. Okay, that refers to it becomes very difficult for the business organization, difficult for a business organization to judge what or predict how exactly the environment is. Environment refers to the sum total of all the economic, political environment, technological environment, legal environment. So all these environments put together, like the government control, like customers wants, like change in the legal and the rules and regulations in the court, all these are the things which is very difficult for them to predict. So what is happening? The business environment, it consists of numerous of interrelated dynamic conditions or forces which arise from different sources. So the risk factor or the complexity is not arising here only from one particular, let's say, environment. It's surrounded by a lot of complexities from various other environments, like your legal, your political, your economical, your technology wise. So all these are difficult for the business environment or business organization to handle. So next one is interrelatedness. What exactly is interrelatedness? Now, interrelatedness refers to people depending on each other. Now, example, for you to live strong, for you to live a long life, you are taking protein substance, you're taking, let's say, Herbalife products, you're taking Horlicks, you're taking Complan, you're taking whatnot, just for you to stay strong and, let's say, healthy. So what is happening? There are products that is there are people who are depending on the products, and the products are manufactured so that people can stay fit. So what is happening? There is interrelatedness between the customers and between the products which has been manufactured. Yes. So what's happening? Different elements or parts of the business environment are closely interrelated. For example, the life expectancy of people have increased awareness, and healthcare have increased the demand of many health products. Yes, like I told you, there are a lot of these soft drinks or sport drinks, or let's say you have cooking which you can do without oil at all. So all these are nothing but because people do really want to stay fit. They are dependent on the products, and the products are manufactured for these kind of people. So there is an interrelatedness between the business environment and the people who are living as well. Now, the last one is relativity. What is relativity? Business environment is a relative concept since it differs from country to country. Now, example, if you talk about, let's say, China, you talk about France, the sari that we wear in India, in Indian culture, sari is a traditional attire which is really fond by many women. So, what is happening in the Western culture? Sari is an attire which they people hardly know about or talk about. Okay, why? Because due to the changing in the weather climates, depending on the weather climates, people check the news and only then they would uh, check what dress they want to wear. Because if it's going to be a stormy day, they cannot drape a sari and go out. Definitely, they'll have to cover themselves with a lot of warm clothes. If it's going to be a snowy day, they cannot just go in, let's say, a sari, in a sari attire. So, what are they saying? In every country the things are different, the environment is different. Okay, so when you talk about USA, the political leader in US will be different. Okay, it's Donald Trump. But if you talk about India, it is another, it's Modi. So what are they saying? There is a lot of difference in the environment when you compare one state from one organization to another state and another organization. So, business environment is a relative concept since it differs from country to country and even region to region, like I was telling you. So, political conditions in the US, for instance, differs from those in China. Similarly, demand for sari may fairly be high in India, whereas it may almost be non-existence in France. People will not even know what an attire like sari is called. Is the need and the importance of business environment. Okay, I'm not going to stop. We would ensure to finish these topics because these topics are really important. And again, this is an 8 marker. It may also come as a 4 marker, and like I was telling you, it's a small chapter. Please ensure that you're completing this particular chapter. Okay, now you have the explanation and the points are a little repeated. You would actually understand if you actually see or learn it for, like, let's say 2 to 3 days, you'll be done with this particular chapter. Importance of business environment, what are they supposed to do, what are they supposed to check. Okay, so these are the points which you need to understand and learn. Okay, so it helps in improving performance. Whose performance? The employees performance. Assistance in planning strategies, policy making, image building, then coping with rapid changes, continuous learning, tapping useful resources, giving directions for growth, identification of threats, and gets easier to fist movers advantage. So these are the importance of your business environment. This again, this topic is an 8 marker. Please ensure you're not neglecting these particular topics. These are scoring topics. Okay, first one, only the words that I've highlighted in blue. If you learn those words and write the explanation, more than enough. Don't go to break your head more. But please ensure the first points, the points are the main thing that you need to be learning. So it enables the firm to identify opportunities. So what is who's helping? Business environment is helping the organization to identify opportunities. How? Because there are customers who come to the shop or come to your store and ask you, do you have an ankle and jean, or do you have, let's say, a tube top, or do you have these kind of floaters? So what are they saying? They have a lot of demand. The customers have a lot of demand. So based on the customers demand, they'll ensure the firms will identify the opportunities and they start moving first. That's the advantage. So opportunities refers to what? Positive and external trends or changes. It helps a firm to improve its performance, and environment provides numerous opportunities for business success. So like I was telling you, in the Middle East, you get easy petrol. Why? Because of the business environment. The natural environment there is really rich. But if you talk about India, India doesn't have petrol. Why? Because it's not a dry land. Okay, we are a fertilized land. So what is happening? You need to understand which country stands for um, which kind of products, or how is their natural resource or the natural wealth. Depending on that, you need to check the opportunities and ensure that they're moving, or let's say they are helping the environment as well. So the environment provides numerous opportunities for the business success. Second point, it helps the firm to identify threats. Now, what is the meaning of threats? Threats is nothing but difficulties. We don't know what's going to happen. You are sensing that something wrong is going to happen. So, you are getting the threat and you are giving early warning signals. Okay, so threats refers to external environments and trends and changes that will hinder a firm's performance. Beside opportunities, environment happens to be the main source of many threats. So what are they saying? Every business organization, let it be big or small, they have to undergo a lot of threats, a lot of let's say risk, which is not known to them. It's very uncertain to them. So the third one is it helps in tapping useful resources. Like I've already taught you, resources refers to three words: raw materials, finance, and technology, and your human resources. But here it says finance, machinery, raw materials. So again, machinery comes under your raw materials itself, and power, water, labor. So what are they saying? Since the environment is very rich, you are ensuring that you are doing business. When you're doing these, when you're whatever business you are doing, you are ensuring that you have the available resources. So this word called resources, available, useful resources, is a very very important terminology. Is it helps in coping up with the rapid changes. Now, who is helping you cope up with rapid changes? The business environment is helping you, or helping you to cope up with a lot of changes. Dynamic, like I was telling you in the features, it's a very it keeps changing. The environment keeps changing. It's dynamic. It's ever changing. The taste, the likes, the dislikes of people keep changing. So what is happening? It helps in coping with rapid changes. Since you are a businessman, you start analyzing and thinking what will be the likes and what will be the dislikes, and depending on that you start manufacturing the products. So it helps in coping with rapid changes, refers to the business environment which helps to cope with the rapid changes. Okay, so the fifth one is it helps in assisting in planning and policy formulation. So who is helping you? Business environment is helping you to in your planning and your policy formulation. Now what is happening? Since environment is a source of both opportunities and threats, like I already told you, when there is opportunities there are threats. Until you do not go seeking towards your opportunities, you will not know under your what are your threats, whether you can fight your threats. All these are unknown. So its understanding and analyzing can be on the basis for deciding the future course of action or training guidelines for decision making policy. So it's these topics are really simple. Please ensure these you're learning these topics. Okay, so the sixth one is it helps in improving performance. How does it help in improving performance? The final reason of understanding the business environment, it relates to whether or not really makes a difference in performance of an enterprise. The answer is that it does not appear to make a difference. Many studies reveal the future of the enterprise is closely bound with what is happening in the environment. So, what are they saying? They have done a study and they have understood that even if the environment is improving, sooner or later things are going to collapse. Why? Because we are exploiting the business environment or organizations to the core. So for you to check the performance of the enterprise, you need to, they have done a lot of study and they have found out that Whatever is happening in the environment is happening mainly without the control of human beings. Example, we are all sitting at home because of coronavirus and we are all working from home, but we never really thought that this external factor which is affecting the entire economy would may put a standstill, okay? Or let's say the people would start losing their jobs, stop working. All this we did not know would happen. So what are they saying? This particular business environment, it helps even in improving the performance of the employees, and on the other side we cannot predict what is going to happen. Okay, any doubts you have, any questions you have, please feel free. These topics are very simple and very easy topics. Probably you can learn it once or twice. Please ensure to learn your headings. Headings are very important. And after that, you can do your self explanatory as long as you understand what is there. Don't give your blind explanations, okay? So, any doubts, any questions, please stay tuned. Please let me know in the comment section how did you find the video, any changes you want me to implement. I would be happy to assist. So, please like, please subscribe, and stay blessed and stay happy. Thank you.